What is the exact timeline when it comes to getting a job, whether it's the internship or the full-time offer at the big four accounting firms? KPMG, PWC, Ernst Young, and Deloitte. I recently got a couple comments from Dunkerito, great name by the way, and they asked how common is it for an internship during the junior year to become a full-time offer? When did the full-time offer usually start after graduation? And in addition, overall, if I don't have the 150 credit hour requirement, can I still apply? Can I still get a job? So overall, here's how the entire process works. It mainly starts the first semester of your junior year. Now, one thing I do want to say, even though the hiring process starts then, remember, the biggest thing is having a really good GPA. I talked about this before in other videos, but overall, your GPA isn't a massive make or break factor, but there is a certain cutoff. I don't know what it is. It might change from time to time. Overall, remember, having good grades is a very, very good, at least stepping stone to get the interview, to start networking, etc., etc. So in the first semester of your junior year, what's going to happen, you're going to see all the recruiters, I mean, you probably see them anyway, but you'll see all the big four recruiters out and about throughout your school. Maybe they're giving talks and lectures. They might have networking events. This is the most crucial time. My first semester of junior year, I actually only took 4 classes instead of 5. Because in my mind, I had 4 classes, and then the extra class is getting an internship. And there's a lot of work. You're going to be networking a lot. You're going to be printing out your resume a million times. You're going to be going to career fairs. You're going to be going to all these interviews and maybe even going all the way to the actual site that you may be working at, etc., etc. It's a lot of work. And also, too, you should treat it like another class, or I guess in this case, a mini job, because it is that much work. So the biggest thing is your first semester of junior year, you're going to be just nonstop networking, meeting as many recruiters as you can. The biggest thing, and I've done a bunch of videos about this, and this is meant to be the timeline, but overall, obviously, getting their business cards, making sure you send follow-up emails, make sure they can put a face to the name. After networking, you will get the interview. After getting the interview, if they like you enough, you'll get the second interview. At the second interview, which is typically done at the job site, so you'll actually go to that firm, they then interview you there. After the second interview, you then hear back or you don't. Typically, if you don't hear back, that means you probably didn't get the job. If you do hear back, they say, hey, you know what? We really love you as a candidate. We want to give you the internship offer for the next upcoming summer. So typically, you do the Big Four internship now, if you do get it, and if you do get that offer, the summer after your junior year. So you do it during the summer, and it's a lot of fun, being honest. You learn a lot about accounting, of course, but also you have like a class with you. It kind of reminds me similar to like high school or even middle school, where you have like a homeroom and everybody knows each other. That's what it's like in the internship. So everybody's the same age. They're all, they're all people who are about to be in their senior year. You're pretty much all on the same level. So every weekend you're going out and you're partying with all your internship classmates, so to speak. So the internship is a lot of fun. Now, during the internship, obviously you are just starting out. So there's a lot to learn. The biggest thing, work hard, try to learn as much as you can. Try to, again, network as best as possible. Try to just overall, I think the biggest thing, and this is something I heard from Tim Ferriss, who's a very famous entrepreneur when it comes to networking, is he said, your goal isn't to make a good first impression. Your goal is not to make a bad one. What I mean is that it's very difficult during the internship, if not impossible, that you're going to be such an amazing intern that they're going to be like, oh my God, this guy or girl is mind-blowing. Being honest, even if you perform at the average level, average is still good when it comes to the internship, if that makes sense. Where all you need to do, learn as much as you can and work hard and just try to, show your strengths as an accountant. I promise you, if you do well, you'll be all set. It's something like 95% of the interns actually get the full-time offer. So that's one thing I will say, is that if you do get that internship, within reason, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the full-time offer. As long as you don't screw it up, right? And you hear these stories a lot where, let's say, someone got too drunk and they did something stupid. Or let's say someone just was too hungover, they didn't come into work the next day. Or let's say someone was just rude to a client and they'd cross a certain line. Being honest, you really have to try pretty hard to do so bad that, like, you know what, we don't want you to come back. like I said, you're pretty much about 95% guaranteed to get that full-time offer. So at the end of the internship of that summer, they will give you the full-time offer, which is amazing because I remember for me, when I got the full-time offer and I accepted it, I was like, wow, I'm going in to my senior year of college with already a job lined up, which is pretty epic. Then you do your senior year, of course, and the full-time offer typically starts the September after you graduate. So that one summer is truly your last summer, quote unquote, I'll say that, before you get into the real world. So for me, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Italy. I actually went to Rome. I bartended for that summer. It was an insane experience. Ended up DJing at different clubs in Rome, ended up club promoting for them as well. So I had a great summer because I was like, okay, you know, in September, I'm hitting the real world. For me personally, I don't know why this was a thing, but I started halfway through September. So I moved into my place with all my friends September 1st in Boston. We got our apartment that was kind of close to the firm. I started, I think it was like September 16th or 17th, I don't know what it was, but basically halfway through the month. I don't know why halfway, kind of random. Maybe they give you a couple leeway, or a couple weeks of leeway. A couple things I'm going to say, especially going off this comment. One, if let's say you do know you want to be in accounting and you're going to get your CPA, I've done a bunch of videos about the CPA. I know it's tough for me to give this advice because it depends on everybody's situation. If, let's say you are gung-ho about accounting, it's not a bad idea to bang out your CPA before you start full-time. A lot of my friends did this, and they were so happy that they did. You're going to hear a lot from especially people in, like, say, their second year or third year at the firm. If they don't have their CPA, they heavily regret not just taking time off, or taking that summer, to get the CPA done and then go back to work. Another big suggestion I'm going to give, and I know some people will do this, you don't have to, is maybe take a year off. Say, hey, is there any way I can start in a year? So let's say you graduate May or June of a year. You start not that September, but the next year, September. It's a little risky. You can bring it up to your recruiters and say, hey, you know, I want to spend a year to, you know, just get ready for the firm, and I also want to get the CPA out of the way. But a lot of my friends just did it during the summer. And it's a tricky thing, right? Because on one end, yeah, it's your last summer, but also it is a nightmare trying to work and trying to get your CPA done. Trust me, it's an absolute nightmare. I know a lot of people who did it. That is one thing that I will say is that when it comes to kind of time management, if you can get your CPA done before you start full time, that's huge. Now, talking as well about the 150 credits, it is common that, let's say, after you graduate, you don't have 150. I did a video about how to get 150 credits as fast as possible. I did it in 4 years. So did all my other friends. One thing I will say is that if you don't have the 150, you at least still have to prove to recruiters in order to get that full-time offer that you have some type of like plan and action. So you might say, hey, you know what? During the next summer and during, let's say, the next winter, I have 2 classes lined up, 2 classes in the summer, 2 classes in the winter, and I'm going to take them and pass them. Then I'll get to 150. As long as you show them some type of goal or plan, even a lot of accounting students now, this is, I think, pretty much typical on your resume when applying for jobs. Not only do you have like expected graduation date, major, et cetera, you say expected 150 credit hour completion date. So you say, you know, May of blah, 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 or January of blah, blah, blah. And you say, look, by this time, based on all the planning I've done in terms of my classes I'm taking now and future projections, this is when I will have 150. You cannot work at the firm if you're not CPA eligible in terms of having all those things in place. So say if you don't have the 150, just talk to the recruiter saying, hey, just letting you know, I have 2 summer classes lined up. I only need, I don't know, a few extra credits left. After these 2 classes, then I'll be all set to go. But that's your overall timeline. You know, starts off your junior year, first semester, networking and interviewing. You get the second interview. You then, if you do well, then get the internship. The internship happens the summer before your senior year. If you do well in the internship, which, like I said, as long as you do well, you'll be all set. They give you the full-time offer. You have the full-time offer locked in stone for the most part. Your senior year, you can enjoy your senior year, and then you start September after you graduate.